What's up? Today I'm reacting to a great lecture by the one, the only, the Professor Jiang. And he's talking about Protestantism, capitalism, and the doom that the whole world is heading to if these things continue. Hope you enjoy.
Who in 1904 to 1905, from 1905, he wrote something called The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. He's trying to explain why is it that Protestants are a lot wealthier than Catholics in general, okay? And this is what he has to say. So far as predestination was not reinterpreted, toned down, or fundamentally abandoned, okay? So remember, double predestination, right? The belief that God has already selected those who will go to heaven, and you must prove to yourself that you're one of them. Two principal, mutually connected types of pastoral advice appear. Okay? So there are two consequences to the idea of predestination. On the one hand, it is held to be an absolute duty to consider oneself chosen. Okay? So when a minority are going to heaven, the odds are you're not going to heaven, but you must believe you're going to heaven. Otherwise, you lack faith in God. Otherwise, you don't truly believe in God. And then therefore, you'll be truly condemned by God. And to combat all doubts as temptations of the devil, since lack of self-confidence is the result of insufficient faith, hence of imperfect grace. Okay? To prove that God is perfect, to prove that God loves you, you must truly believe that you are chosen by God. If you doubt yourself, then you'll be condemned to hell. Okay? Then you become
Sounded a little American here, is it?
a servant of the devil. The exhortation of the apostle to make fast one's own call is here interpreted as a duty to attain certainty of one's own election and sanctification in the daily struggle of life. Okay? So you need to prove that you are one of the elect by focusing on this world. Okay? Focus your energies on conquering this world. On the other hand, in order to attain that self-confidence, intense worldly activity is recommended as the most suitable means. It and it alone disperses religious doubt and gives the certainty of grace. Okay? So this idea of...
You can see how this philosophy might make you pretty successful. But it has consequences. Bear with me.
You have anxiety? How do you deal with anxiety? Work. Okay? OCD, obsessive compulsive behavior. What kind of work do you do? Make money. Because the money is proof of God's grace. Right? Okay, so he continues. There's worldly Protestant asceticism. Okay? Asceticism just means like you're actually not spending any money, okay? Not only are you compelled to make a lot of money, but you're also compelled not to spend any of it. Not to enjoy it, because that leads to corruption. That leads to decadence. Acted powerfully against the spontaneous enjoyment of possessions. It restricted consumption, especially of luxuries. Okay? So no one's spending any of this money. Where's this money going? It's going to the bank. And who's using this money in the bank? The government is. And what are they doing? They're using it to fight wars. Right? And that's how England, the Netherlands became empires. Because it had access to all this surplus wealth that the Protestants weren't spending. On the other hand, it had the psychological effect of freeing the acquisition of goods from the inhibitions of traditionalist ethics. Okay, so the idea here is this. Before, if you were wealthy, you were expected by everyone around you to support the community, usually by organizing feasts on religious festivals, okay? You were expected to share your wealth.
Imagine
if you had too much money, it showed that you were against the community, okay? It showed that you were selfish. But now, people believe that if you're wealthy, it means God favors you. The more wealth you have, the more people respect you, okay? It's a complete inverse from the historical case. Historically, we believe that those who have too much money are evil. Now we believe that those who have too much money are inherently good. Okay, it's a complete reverse. It broke the bonds, the impulse of acquisition in that it not only legalized it, but looked upon it as directly willed by God, okay? So before it's embarrassing to have too much money, now it is prestigious to have too much money.
Not only prestigious, but holy, a sign that God loves you if you make a lot of money. And if you're poor, he doesn't love you. So work harder.
Campaign against the temptations of the flesh and the dependence on external things was not a struggle against the rational acquisition, but against the irrational use of wealth, okay? So what's evil is not to make a lot of money. What's evil is to use that money to enjoy yourself. All right?